let's look at it. The quadrant is part 1. So this is the first one. Where art thou? Very good. So number 1, this trig, if you haven't noticed, is quadrant driven. So the first quadrant is plus plus. Second quadrant is minus plus. Third quadrant is minus minus. Fourth quadrant is plus or minus. So where are we if sine is less than 0? If sine is less than 0, sine is the y, So you have to be y is littler than 0. So you would have to be either the third or the fourth, because we're coming from the land down under. Where are we if cosine is greater than 0? Cosine is the x, right? So if the x is greater than 0, we are on the right side, which is either the first quadrant or the fourth quadrant. Answer 4, Because 4 is true for both of them. Can y'all do that after our break? How about that one? Tangent is less than 0, secant is less than 0. Work it out and shoot me the finger. 1, 2, 3, or 4. If it's 1, don't shoot the bird at me. Use your index finger, not your middle finger. 1, they're less than 0. So tell me, y'all got a lot of rust on you, I can tell. Trig is quadrant driven. Those are the 4 quadrants. And what is the answer, Kevin? Very good. Tangent is less than 0, means that the y over x is less than 0, which means that they disagree, is the way I say it. So tangent less than 0 means that the signs disagree. So we're either in, very good, second or fourth. Secant gets his name from what? Excellent. 1 over the cosine, So therefore, if that is 0, the only way the ratio secant could be less than 0 is if what? If x is less than 0. So we must be on the left side, So it would be second and third. So what is the answer to this one is 2, Easy cheesy, Secant is greater than 0. Cotangent is greater than 0. So secant being greater than 0, means what? Talk to me. Excellent. Cosine is greater than 0. So we are either in, the plus has to be plus, so we're either in first or fourth. And then how do I say cotangent? Cotangent is the x over the y, so for it to be greater than 0, they have to agree, right? They have to agree, which means we're either in agreeing plus plus or agreeing minus minus. The obvious answer is 1. Y'all okay? Come on, everybody has to shoot me the correct fingers. Tangent is less than 0. Cosecant is greater than 0. Disaster. Y'all have to be rushing through this. You can get this wrong. Answer? Ooh, tangent is less than 0 means what? I just say agree, disagree. The tangent's less than 0. Don't the signs have to disagree? They can't be 1 or 3, so we put an X through them. Now, what's this one? Cosecant is 1 over the, do you remember your trig functions from last week? We practiced them enough. 1 over the sine has to be greater than 0, which means the y has to be greater than 0, which means we're upper echelon, We're high. We're either in first or second. And who did I check twice? Quadrant 2. Need more? Are you ready to move on? Who votes move on? Raise your left hand. Who votes I could use one more practice, Chief? Raise your right hand. We have a couple. I don't want to ignore questions. So how about this one? Everybody get it right and tell it to the guy behind you. If there's nobody behind you, then tell it to the guy in the front of the room. Everybody got that? I can't tell how many fingers you have up. Most people do it this way. You hold this booger down. Cosine is less than 0 means we're to the left. Tangent is greater than 0 means we're what? Agreeing. So we're either first or third. That's the agree quadrant. So what quadrant are we in? 3. Everybody knows this, right? Watch out for this one. I'm curious what you'd say. This isn't the theme of what they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone pulled this on you. Are you watching? It wouldn't shock me if someone did that to you. I personally haven't seen it in my trig book. When we do it, it's elimination and there's one survivor. But this one, how y'all doing? This one is 3 or 4, Because, well, we're doing trig. It's kind of rough on a youngster. I wouldn't want to scare him away. Yeah, it's kind of rough. Come back later, though. So sine is less than 0 is what? Line down under, And then cosecant less than 0 is the same place, So this would be technically, I never see this question, but it would technically be 3 or 4. Y'all okay? Now that concludes the first quiz tomorrow. Let's do the second one, shall we? Usually I call it a pick five and ask for all five. I'm acting like the ACT right now. They aren't going to ask 5 questions out of 1. They will simply ask for one trig function. So where art thou is the same question. The sign is positive, so we must be where? Upper, But look at where this is. Round and around we go. Where we stop, I know. We stop, you don't know? We are past pi halves. Where is pi halves? And we are not quite to pi. So we are, it's actually a specific spot, but I don't know it either. It is therefore loosely defined as somewhere in the middle. It is, though, it would be actually closer to the bottom, because the sign is the height, is the y, it's kind of small. Now, what did I teach you last time was very critical. I know y'all have a lot of cobwebs from the weekend, but I said you draw the triangle from the origin. So everybody run to the point. You run left, then up. And what's the rule? Right angle and theta are attached, right, to the x-axis. Everybody okay? So therefore, since sine is 2/5, we would say what? Chief Sokotoa. The opposite is 2, and the hypotenuse is 5. 5. So Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 2 squared is 5 squared. This is not one of my memorized right triangles. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine. I will test your Algebra 2 and go back and tell your teacher, if x squared is 21, I'll find out right now if your teacher drilled this into you well. What is x? No. Somebody taught you good. It's plus or minus root 21. And how do I know, my friends, which one it is? By the movement, We're on the left side, So this answer is actually the minus root 21, Not part of prime time. Not part of prime time. But a lot of people would say, oh, you're not on the unit circle. And they're right. The radius of the unit circle is 1. The radius of this circle is 5. So all I have to do to get the trig functions is divide everybody by 5 to cut it down to size. But honestly, I just do Sokotoa. So what was the question? Tangent. And that's why I didn't divide by 5. It would make too much mess. So tangent would be 2 opposite over adjacent. And please, if you put that negative on the bottom, I've got 5 fingers I'd like for you to meet. The negative does not belong at the bottom. It belongs where? Pizza, it would be negative 2 root 21 over 21 for the answer. Y'all okay? Generally, I call them pick sixes, or pick fives rather, or I give you one and you provide the other five. How we doing so far? Grace is going to try to do the whole problem in his head. If secant theta, that means what? Cosine is positive 15 over 17. And then I tell you that tangent is less than 0. Well, Romeo, where art thou? Quadrant 4, huh? I told you cosine is positive. Cosine is positive means we've got to be on the right. Tangent's negative means we're disagreeing. We're either 2 or 4. So around and around and around we go. Where do we stop? I know. 4. Draw the triangle with the what? Excellent. The right angle and the excellent theta attached to the excellent x-axis. Secant 15, 17 means that hypotenuse is 17. Very good. And 15 is who? They're both positive. And I think you were drilled this, who knows this triple? It's the 8, 15, 17. No pressure. X squared plus y squared has to equal hypotenuse squared. So x is 15 squared. And 17 squared, everybody knows, is 289. So when we subtract that, we would get 64. Pet peeve. How do you solve that? You take the square root of both sides, and what does y equal? Plus or minus 8. In this case, it's negative because we're moving down. So what was the question? Find us some sine theta. Negative 8 over 17. How are we doing? Let's see.